Hey listeners, welcome back to another out of world news story with Alice channel. Time is a fascinating and universal concept that affects every aspect of our lives. Uncover the hidden secrets and truths. Today's story is about few months ago when Opus found out his wife was cheating on him. Online site wife tried to destroy his life. So Opus did this to her and she's family. See how? I hope you all enjoying this long story. Okay, let's go on to the story. Now, I am not one who usually spends time at hot sites, but July 1st night a few months ago, I not only looked at the content but signed up for their premium membership. I figured it was $100 well spent. I was watching a live feed of a very hot woman. I have seen better, but something about this scene really got to me. It was the woman, hot housewife Jenna they called her, but I knew her real name was Kelly. Kelly was my wife. Well, darling, that was pretty good. I bet your old man never makes you happy. That good, does he? Hot housewife, Jenna. My Kelly grinned back at him and said without hesitation, well, Mario, that was pretty good for sure. As you say. But just so you know, no one lights me up like my husband. I have been with a few men, but no one ever makes me happy like he does. You're good, but he is fantastic. So don't quit trying harder. And she grinned at him again. Mario looked at her quizzically and asked, well, if he is so fantastic, why are you cheating on him by coming here and letting me play you? She replied without losing her grin. I didn't plan for it to happen, but I like to play and I am glad you play me. I also do it because I can get away with it and he will never know. I actually love my husband with all my heart, and after 3 nights here, I realize how much better he is than what I get here. And it makes me love him and appreciate him all the more. Like I said earlier, the $100 was money well spent because I was able to see what was going on with my loving wife for a lot less than surveillance equipment or private investigators would have cost me. You're probably asking yourselves how I got here. What transpired before that night to make me go to this site? It's a good question, and I guess the most honest answer would be a fluke. A rare piece of good fortune that turned my way. Not good fortune that my wife was playing Mario, but good fortune and that I now knew she was cheating on me. Kelly and I have been married for just over 8 years. We first met when we were in elementary school together. We grew up in the area of a small-sized town in central Illinois. She lived in town and I lived out in the country. Her father owned the largest grain elevator in the area, and my father owned the largest grain farm in the area. Because our parents did business together, it was natural that we would meet and go to school together and be friends. I won't bore you with the grade school crushes, the high school romance, or even the college scene. We both have dated and yes, vetted other people. We had not been exclusive with one another, but deep down, I guess we always knew that we should be a couple. I was indeed the one who took her virginity, but along the way there were others for her and for me. It was in our junior year at the University of Illinois that we decided to become exclusive. And sometime later I asked her to marry me. About 1.5 years later, 1 week after we graduated, we were married. We both received degrees in business administration. Life was good. At least I thought it was good until that night in July. Anyway, let me continue. 3 years ago, Kelly's parents retired and moved to Phoenix, AZ. Kelly, her sister Amber, and her 2 brothers, Tom and Carl Gentry, bought 48% interest in the grain business from Tom Sr. He wanted to retain controlling interest for a few years to add his financial backing to the growth. Eventually, he would begin to decrease his interest until they owned it 100%. Amber is married to a friend of mine, Walter Swanson, who also happens to be a grain farmer. He operates a farm that is just a few hundred acres smaller than mine. We live quite close to each other and spend some good times with them. Tom and Carl co-manage the grain business, and Kelly is their controller. Amber also works at the facility dealing with customers and processing grain sales transactions, etc. It is a true family-run business with a few additional employees, mostly truck drivers and grain handlers. During the peak of harvest season, they employ a few part-time workers also. I guess that is enough background, so I should continue with the sordid tale of how I discovered my wife ducking another guy online and what happened after that discovery. All 4 of the Gentry children had spent a huge amount of extra time putting together the deal for the purchase of the interest and the grain business from their father. I wasn't involved very much in it, but I knew that they had to bust their humps to get the deal done. There were bank meetings. There were meetings with the Illinois Department of Agriculture. There were meetings with insurers. All of them were burned out after the deal was done. Fortunately, this all took place during the winter, which was their slowest time of the year for me. It was after harvesting time, so I didn't need Kelly on the farm as much as I would have during my two busy times of the year. She didn't actually do any of the farm work herself, but with 2,200 acres in corn and soybeans, both of those times are extremely busy for me and I needed Kelly to run errands for me, etc. You get the picture. So since we were not busy, Kelly and Amber decided they wanted to take a few days and go to a spa to relax and unwind. They booked a spa for a 3-night gateway. The girls came back so relaxed and rejuvenated that they decided to do it again that July after the planning season was well over. The next year they booked another weekend. It was during that weekend spa visit that I was viewing the video online. Dan Marville, the field agent for the Illinois Department of Agriculture in our county, happened to stop by during a routine tour of his area of responsibility. Kelly and I had known Ann in college and he asked about her, and I mentioned that she was on a getaway at Peace Spas. Dan gave me a funny look and said that there was something funny happening there that maybe I would be interested in checking out. He said a cousin of his used to work at that spa as a masseur and had told him some pretty wild tales about what happened there. He said they even had a website with a different name. He didn't recall the exact name but thought it had something to do with pleasures. I asked him what he was talking about and he cautiously said he didn't really want to go into it, but that I should check it out. I am an internet poker. I go online and poke around looking for interesting stuff, and occasionally so that evening in question, I did some poking around and I found Peace Ball. It didn't take long to find the live feed and the game was on. Now I can tell you all about what happened that night, but why? I was hurt, I cried, I yelled, I got angry, I got depressed, and I got everything else a man would get when he found out his wife cheated on him. I soon found out that it wasn't the first time she had cheated either, because PSEPA had an archive folder and I was able to find videos from the previous 2 visits, as well as videos of the 2 previous nights Kelly and Amber had been there. With a premium membership, I was able to download each of the videos for an additional $20 each. I downloaded the 2 videos from their first visit, 3 from their second visit, and 3 from the current trip. I downloaded 8 videos, and all at a cost of $160. So for a grand total of $260, I had all the evidence I would ever need to divorce my wife. I just didn't have a plan yet how I was going to do it, but I knew it had to start right away. I wouldn't wait a month or 2 weeks or even 1 week to bring it about. As far as I was concerned, the quicker we parted company, the better. She had ducked another man a minimum of 8 times, and I had video proof. Actually, she had ducked at least 2 different men, Mario and Steve, on the videos I had downloaded. I didn't know, and I didn't even care if there had been more. 2 men was more than enough. I made a few of copies of the videos onto DVDs and put them in a very safe place. When my father built the house, he had a wall